Hey, all you mentees! Actually on time this week. Join me for an advanced look at all these trade paperbacks coming out from Marvel this week. So, let's get started. And welcome back, everybody. Before getting started, a huge thank you to David Gabriel and the folks at Marvel for sending us advanced copies of these trades. These books are due out in the direct market on August 18th, and then a couple of weeks later in the book market. So we've got a Marvelverse book, some brand new Mighty Marvel Masterworks, and 3 trade paperbacks. As always, I put timestamps in the description of the video so you can jump around or just watch the parts that you're interested in. Let's go ahead and get started with that Marvelverse book, the Marvelverse line. This is an introductory line for new people that are trying to get into these comic books. And it's a smaller scale book, so the dimensions are smaller than your trade paperback. Doesn't matter if it's an epic or just a trade paperback, a standard trade paperback. The dimensions are smaller in this book. And the price point is always lower too. It's $9.99. They've done one for Black Widow. Actually, here's some of the characters they've done. Usually it's the characters that have movies. But they've branched out, TV shows and just random characters sometimes. But today we're focusing on Doctor Strange. So this does collect the Uncanny Origins number 12. Doctor Strange number 55. That's the classic Doctor Strange from 1974. Marvel Adventure Superheroes number 5. And then material from Strange Tales 126 through 127. As well as Marvel Fanfare number 5. So this is the Uncanny Origins issue right here, which was a series. I think this one's written by Len Wein. Yeah, Len Wein. Retelling the origin of Doctor Strange. Geared towards kids, but not necessarily has to be strictly for kids. And this is Mark Campos artwork, just retelling his origin, not really modernizing it because they keep elements to keep it timeless in there. Then we get the classic Doctor Strange stories back here, yeah, from Strange Tales, the Steve Ditko stuff. So this is the classic Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, just a couple of stories. I think this is the first fight with Dormammu, if I'm not mistaken. And then, oh man, is this Uncle Raj? Yeah, I think it is. If I'm not mistaken, Roger Stern, Michael Golden. Oh, this is the stuff that hasn't been collected in omnibus format yet. This happens after Doctor Strange Omnibus Volume 2, the one that I got to announce. This run kicked off with Steve Englehart, then it has Roger Stern, and then Chris Claremont. So none of that has been collected in omnibus format, but man, just look at that artwork. I cannot wait for that. Michael Golden, love his artwork. Saw him at a convention a couple of weeks ago. Poor guy broke his hand. And then we have some of these Marvel Adventure books. Now, the Marvel Adventure line isn't really canon. It doesn't take place in the 616 universe, but they do a really good job of just kind of summarizing what the characters are about and some of the adventures they've been on. So those are definitely geared more towards kids, but they're a lot of fun. Like, I really enjoyed the Spider-Man one. So again, $9.99, collecting just those issues of Doctor Strange. Well, one issue of Doctor Strange, and then the rest of the issues collected in here feature Doctor Strange. But it does have 120 pages. As far as the extras in the back, they do have some covers to the Marvel Masterworks. That Alex Ross beautiful picture. And then this is a 1983 poster. That is awesome, by Kevin Nolan. And Kevin Nolan also draws that right there. Yes, the third Mighty Marvel Masterwork. And they went with X-Men. You have the standard edition cover here by Michael Cho, and the direct market cover here by Jack the King Kirby. And the spines are different. The standard edition up at the top, and the direct market at the bottom. The backs are different. For example, this is a volume 1 of X-Men. You have that only in the standard edition, whereas the number is right here. This is a volume 3 of a special limited printing. So this one is more limited printing than this. This is your standard edition. The covers are all the same, but like I said, volume 1 of X-Men, volume 3 if you're collecting all the Mighty Marvel Masterworks. And they've done the same with the Marvel Masterworks, so that's nothing really new. Everything on the inside is the same, so let's take a look in here. If you want a spoil-filled review of this, the entire family, the Astonishing Melanie, Miss Lydia and Adjectiveless Alicia are joining me to do a review of the first 10 issues. That's what this collects, the first 10 issues of X-Men. This is the series that kicked it all off. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, introducing us to Jean Grey, Scott Summers, Bobby Drake, Hank McCoy, and Warren Worthington III, as well as this man named Charles Xavier, otherwise known as Professor X. First issue kicking it off with the battle against Magneto. This book has 240 pages, so yes, if you want a more detailed review with a bunch of spoilers, and to see what my kids who are 9 and 12 years old, and my wife who's never read the classic X-Men stuff, thought of this particular era, yeah, tune into the channel. I believe that video will probably go up on Thursday this week. So let's keep going. Oh, by the way, one thing I did not mention is that both retail prices of these are $15.99, just like the rest of the Mighty Marvel Masterworks. We've got a Volume 2 of Fantastic Four, Volume 2 of Spider-Man, and I believe a Volume 2 of X-Men next year. Marauders, Volume 3. This is by Gerry Duggan, and continuing the adventures of Kate Pryde and her crew. So this does collect issues 16 through 20 of Marauders, as well as King in Black #1. And so the solicits are wrong. The solicits, I think, say that this collects issues 16 through 21, and even the cover is different, but this is the cover they went with. So this all takes place after the X of Swords event. So none of the material that's in here is collected in that oversized hardcover. And I will be doing a advanced look at the oversized hardcover of Marauders Volume 1 tomorrow on the channel if you want to come back for that. But all of the stories that are in here take place after the events of X of Swords. So this is a revenge story. Man, does Sebastian Shaw get his comeuppance. And rightly so, for backstabbing, well, certain characters in the group. And most of the artwork in here is done by Stefano Caselli. And one thing I just kind of glanced over, but I do need to focus on, is this rematch between Callisto and Storm. Callisto, of course, not having the tentacle arms that she did during Chris Claremont's Excalibur run. So she's been fully restored. And why are they fighting? Well, you can find out by reading the book. It's fun. I really like Gerry Duggan's take. I mentioned this on my video because I've already recorded it for Marauders Volume 1. I really like the way that Gerry Duggan writes Kate. She is a badass. The things that she does. And I know some people, didn't like the way she's written because he does age her a little bit. He makes her grow up. And I think for most of us that have been reading about this character, we always want her to stay 13 or younger than 18, rather. I don't know. I think it's just we fear change as readers, especially if we've been reading her adventures from the beginning. My first issue of Uncanny X-Men, as I've mentioned before, was issue 168 with her on the cover. And immediately I had a mad crush on her. So for me, she will always be that kid. So it took me a while to get used to Kate growing up and being this particular character. And doing things that I normally wouldn't see her do, especially in the pages of Excalibur. So we also have the King in Black story in here. This one right here, called Queen in Red. And focusing on the characters fighting off against symbiote versions of some of the X-Men and these Null Dragons that are appearing. And of course, they're all invading. I feel like it's open season on Kate's ship because everybody, villains and whomever, just is able to jump on it and try to take it over. That's what I feel like most of Marauders has been about. And as far as the extras in the back, this is where all the covers are. The book, by the way, retails for $19.99 and has 168 pages. Actually, I think this is the cover that they use for the solicitation, which I really love, by Russell Dodderman. Russell Dodderman supplying the main covers. And then, of course, you have variants back here. It's an awesome variant, honestly. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, all you spine watchers, here are all your spines this week, including the 2 different spines for the Mighty Marvel Masterworks. And pause, hit like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Let's keep going. Reign of X, Volume 3. Look at that cover. It's Wolverine versus Maverick. Why are they fighting? When did Maverick come back? Of course, in this era, anybody can. But here's what it collects. You have Marauders number 17, New Mutants 15, Cable 7, and Wolverine 8 and 9. So Reign of X is the era known as after the events of X of Swords. So where we had the Dawn of X and it ended with Volume 16, Reign of X takes place after X of Swords. None of the X of Swords events, or Ten of Swords, I keep calling it X of Swords, has been collected in the Dawn of X trade paperbacks or the Reign of X. So much like the House and Powers of X, that's going to be a standalone trade paperback if you are getting them in trade paperback format. And it is a big trade paperback, but it is also pricey. That's something we've talked about. The price of that trade paperback is $75. So, Reign of X. This collects, like I said, issues of New Mutants, Marauders, Cable, and Wolverine. And I just talked about Marauders, so this is issue 17, which is also collected in that trade paperback. But this is an anthology, much like the Dawn of X, if you're not familiar with the way these are collected. This is collecting issues in the best possible or suggested reading for people that want to keep up with it faster than trade paperbacks. Because it does take some months for trade paperbacks to get enough content to fill it up and come out to be put on shelves. So we also have New Mutants here, and I talked a little bit about that. This is a little like deja vu. But this is the story of Reign, and Reign realizes that in this new era of X-Men, people could come back from the dead. People can come back and live in Krakoa. Then why the hell is her son not with her? And for those of you that... Well, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what exactly... when that takes place, but that is a very important part of one of my favorite comics of all time. And yeah, so she has a kid out there. And of course her friends, Moonstar and Karma, are, yeah, you're right, we're gonna go get him back. So we also have Cable in here, and Cable of course is in charge of getting back these little mutant babies from this organization known as the Order of X with the help of Rachel Summers. He goes on this mission to try to get and recoup these babies, these mutant babies. However, in this particular issue, there's a couple of surprises, some returning characters, who is behind the scenes of kidnapping these babies. It's not just Order of X, maybe. And then we get to the Wolverine issues, and holy crap has this stuff just blown me away. Benjamin Percy is the writer on this. And the artist right here, Viktor Bogdanovic. His art is just... I don't know. I think I'm getting more and more used to it. I know earlier on, whenever I first saw his artworks in the pages of Wolverine, it reminded me, and it still does, of Greg Capullo's artwork. But it's just becoming more recognizable to me. I'm able to tell when he's drawing something, and I kind of look forward to it. And sometimes, I hate to even say this, but sometimes I look forward to it more than I do Adam Kubert's art. Maybe it's because I know what to expect from Adam Kubert. And I want to see the evolution of Victor's art. But anyway, the big selling point is the return of Team X. This flashback here of Maverick, Sabretooth, and Wolverine being part of this team, this espionage team, during the Weapon X days. So, of course, Maverick gets to come back. And we also get the return of a couple of other characters. A big fight here with one of his big villains. There's an auction for Wolverine's hand. Yeah, this right here. And, of course, my man goes undercover by going as Matches Malone. No, just kidding. By going as Patch. Nobody's going to be able to recognize him. The man has a patch on his eye. Come on. Who's going to think that's Wolverine? How the hell did that work? It was Chris Claremont. He always made it work. So villains are auctioning off all these things, and one of them being his hand. And of course, there's a big auction for something else back here. A couple of Easter eggs, of course, for people that have read Marvel Comics for a while. But this book is a lot of fun, and I cannot wait for the oversized hardcover. The book retails for $17.99. Let's look at the extras. Just a couple of variants back here. And it has 144 pages and some more variants back there. The covers are in between the chapter breaks, so right before the issue starts. Last, and certainly not least, is the Heroes Reborn, America's Mightiest Heroes. So this collects Heroes Reborn 1 through 7 and Heroes Return one-shot. Now, this is not to be confused with the Heroes Reborn, the original classic. I can't believe I'm calling it a classic, but that's what it is now. It makes me feel so old calling something that I think happened 5 years ago a classic. Damn, is that an awesome picture of Power Princess. It's not the Distinguished Competition Diana, it's Power Princess. That's who the Squadron Supreme are. So here you have Hyperion and Dr. Prism and Blur. When did he... Dude, you were always the Wizard. I guess Blur has a better name than Wizard. So the premise of this story, by the way, I had a lot of fun with this particular trade. I had no idea what to expect. Jason Aaron's run on Avengers has been up and down with me. But this one here, this was a lot of damn fun. So I love this stuff. It's gimmicky. It's tropey as hell. We've seen it time and time again. I don't care. One of my favorite stories of Days of Future Past, Age of Apocalypse, things like that. We're talking about an alternate reality. And in this alternate reality, where the Avengers have never existed, Captain America was never gotten out of the iceberg because the Avengers have never been around, we have the Daywalker here, Blade, walking around and being the only one that remembers this other reality with the Avengers, with Captain America. And then we have some of the craziest concepts. So we have Dr. Juggernaut here. You can probably tell what characters make up this one character. And he's fighting Hyperion. You also have Nighthawk here fighting the Black Skull. I'll leave it up to you to tell who is who. Dr. Prism here fighting, I think this is the fight with Thanos and the Infinity Rings. You have the Wizard, formerly known as the Wizard, now known as Blur, fighting the Silver Witch. And yes, the unstoppable All-Gog here. He's the final All-Father fighting Power Princess. So members of the Squadron Supreme. That's what this is about. Earth's mightiest heroes. You've got artwork in here by not just Ed McGuinness. Ed McGuinness doing a chapter in every book. But also you have the talents of Del Keown and Aaron Cooter, just to name a few of the artists in here. Alright. I have to show this page because it's badass. And it's an alternate reality. So it's not much of a spoiler, but let me just show you what to expect. What kind of fun to expect from this. Alright. You have Galactus, one of the most powerful beings in the universe, coming down here to Earth years ago in this alternate reality. And how does Hyperion deal with it? By just blowing right through his freaking skull. That's badass. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, okay. I'm a kid at heart, so things like that still, it's not deep, it's not meaningful. It's just a lot of fun. And aren't comics supposed to be fun from time to time? Not everything has to have a deep philosophical meaning. Yes, I love stories like that too. But sometimes I just like to lose myself. So I wasn't expecting this. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect, like I said. But yes, this was a ton of fun. How it all happens, how this world got built, where the Avengers, do the Avengers come back? Well, you can find out for yourself by reading this freaking fun story that I hope is collected in an oversized format one day, because this is just the main mini-series. I can't flip through the back because that reveals what's behind this and how it might get fixed if it gets fixed. But this one-shots are also available in the upcoming Heroes Reborn America's Mightiest Heroes Volume 1 and Volume 2, which I'll be doing an advanced look here in the next couple of weeks. So these are the stories that take place during this time in this alternate reality. So let's look at the extras here in the back. So you've got variant covers here connecting. Oh, this is a gatefold cover. That's awesome. And more variants. Nick Bradshaw, Patrick Gleason, Frank Cho, just to name a few. And then the big fight against the Avengers. Oh, and thumbnail variants right over here. I wish each variant was given a splash page. I love when variants are given a full splash page, but I realize there's a lot of pages. Speaking of pages, this book has 232 pages and retails for $34.99. That is a badass Power Princess there with Captain America. This one's drawn by Patrick Gleason. That's awesome. And then the toy variants. So that's what this book was about, and honestly, if I were to pick a book this week to read, this one was a lot of fun. And the artwork is just awesome. You've got Ed McGuinness, like I said, doing most of the book, but then you have a bunch of fill-in artists. Look at Dr. Juggernaut, man! That's badass! And I had to show that shot right there of Thanos and the Infinity Rings, because, Gauntlet doesn't exist in this reality. It's got to be the Infinity Rings. But that, as they say, is that for this week. If you're interested in purchasing these books, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They pride themselves on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. Check out the bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. CGN is excited to announce that they are now taking pre-orders. They're making it easier for you to ensure that you don't miss out on the hottest releases. CGN is currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, let them know that you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. This promotion is valid for U.S. customers only. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount and quality shipping and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content and the page count of each of these trades. Let me know in the comments down below which ones you're picking up, if you're hoping for an oversized hardcover or omnibus collection of the Heroes Reborn, if you're hoping for more OHCs of Marauders, and what you think of the Reign of X so far. And yes, please let me know if you're getting the X-Men or any of the Mighty Marvel Masterworks. I think they're a phenomenal way to read this classic material. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We are on Spreadshop and on Patreon, amazing ways to support the channel if you can do so. And more importantly, everyone, please stay healthy, stay safe out there, and much love.